And that's the problem as well, Frank, as the boys say, is that a precedent has been set. So it's very difficult now for the Premier League to come out next week and kind of scrap this rule, because other clubs that haven't been able to take advantage of it will be saying, well, wait a minute, what if we have an outbreak? What if we have injuries? Why do others get preferential treatment?
Now that's a real nightmare, because we don't know where we stand, and we don't know, in fact, how many people have to be injured, have the COVID, or going to the African Nation Championship. So it's a real nightmare for everybody. But I want to say one thing is we shouldn't be too naive. What do we have behind that rule right now? I think the Premier League, like La Liga, want to offer to the viewers the best show. And when you have 13 players from Arsenal not able to play, when you know that game, because it's a derby, is going to be showed to the whole world, and with millions of people watching it, you want the best. And it's not a good publicity to have the C team of Arsenal playing against Spurs. So, of course, when you're an actor of the game, you're Spurs players or coach or belonging to the board, you want the 3 points, and that's understandable. But when you are the Premier League, you say, okay, there is normally a big intensity of this kind of game because of the value of the players and the value of the game. So what do we want to offer to the world? We want to offer the best. So if we can avoid those kind of games, because they are big games, because of players injured or suspended, it's better maybe to cancel it or to postpone it. So for me, it's only fair. We have to see a little bit further than our nose, I guess.
Let me just say briefly, we talk about Arsenal and other clubs. We got clubs selling players in January, and then a couple of days later saying, oh, we can't field enough players. Now, again, that's within the rule, because you've sold the player, he's not your player. But one of the things that sticks in the throat, and this is one of them, is Leicester City. Leicester City have been getting games postponed, and yet, I think you've probably seen this, some of their players turned up at the darts. The World Darts Championship or whatever it is, in huge crowds, big crowds, indoor, and then they're getting games called off for COVID.
Right.
It's stuff like that wind fans up. It's the irresponsibility in this scenario of trying to get games on, and you've got professional players pitching up in closed arenas at big events, sitting shoulder to shoulder with other people. That's irresponsible. And the whole thing, I'm afraid, has just become one big mess. Although I've got to say, we're getting more games on than I thought we were going to get like 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, it was going to look like a complete disaster. At the moment, it's only a handful.
Last word to you, Naden.
I was going to say, I agree with Craig there. The optics of it look horrendous. But to piggyback on the point that Frank made in terms of wanting to see the best quality games and so on, I think the ironic point here would be that the more games that get cancelled, the worse the fixture backlog will be further down in the season. And the likelihood is people will just start rotating their squads. So instead of maybe getting the C team, maybe you get the sort of B plus, B minus team, because they've got to play 4 games in a week. And I think that's the problem. The season will not be extended. So for every game that gets postponed now, it's going to be one heck of a plan to get it so that everything is deemed to be fair as crunch time comes at the end of the season.
Let's just remind you, shall we, of the results of the other games that did take place today. Newcastle 1-0 up for a long time, but Watford with a late equaliser, that finishing 1-1. Huge significance at the bottom of the table, as was Norwich City's 2-1 victory over Everton. Taking a look at what that means. Norwich off the bottom for the first time in what feels like forever. They're only 1 point off Watford now. It's quite incredible. You feel it's going to be between those 4 sides as to which 3 will be relegated to the Championship at the end of the season.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.